Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. That title did not deceive you. This is an all-new mini Jeep offered by Massimo. It's much bigger than the Mini 125 that we've shown you before. That video did very, very well. We appreciate you guys watching that. But this machine is completely different. This truly is almost like a side-by-side. So the Mini 125 is more of a go-kart. I had a lot of questions about that. People thought it was a golf cart. They thought it was a side-by-side. Does it tow things? Going to do work around a farm? No, the other one is, it's a pure fun machine. There's really not a ton of utility to it. You can do a little bit of stuff with it, but it's really just riding around and having a good time. Teaching kids how to ride at 3-speed, do all those different things. This machine is much different. This is an actual legit side-by-side, in my opinion. Now, is it going to do big jobs? No, but it does have some features to it that I think you're gonna be surprised by. And I don't know the price yet. This hasn't even hit the market yet. This is probably one of the very few that are actually even in the country right now. But we're fortunate enough to show it to you, fortunate enough to have it here on our farm to share it with the world. So let's walk around this thing. Let's talk about the different features of it and what makes it much different than the other one. And I'm going to show you some side-by-side pictures of what it looks like versus the 125. We still have the 125 here. And in addition to that, we're going to take it for a ride. We're going to drive it all around this farm. Now, this is a very tough terrain for any vehicle, including high-end side-by-sides, things with complex suspensions, because look at this. It's a hayfield. We have lots of bumpy areas, rocky areas. We're Middle Tennessee. This is a rocky place. But this machine is going to get pretty dirty today. We're going to knock the new off of it and take you for some, just some rides around trails and different places with this thing, because this thing is a blast to drive. No more delay. Let's just jump right into it. All right, as we start to walk around this thing, you can see that there's a new front end. They've redesigned that. Looks a little bit different, as you can see. But if you look here, you can see the front suspension. Really nice suspension. Is this the beefiest? No, it's not. But you know what? Listen, guys, this is a coil suspension. It does have adjustable shocks. If I can adjust this camera up here at the very top, you can adjust the shocks in the front and the rear. It does have disc brakes in the front, which is really nice. And when you start to look at this kind of stuff, you realize this is not a cheap machine. This is actually something that's kind of put together pretty well. The body itself is like a very heavy-duty plastic. You can kind of see that it's almost like maybe that's fiberglass. I really don't know. I think it's a heavy-duty plastic. But when you walk around, look at the sides, you think about the extras you have. You have rear view mirrors. You have this little grab bar, in case you have a passenger that's holding on for dear life because you're driving too fast. You have these little side steps, which are cool, and they are pretty substantial. I'm a pretty heavy guy, pretty tall guy, and I can step on it no problem. A little rack here, which is cool. The seats are adjustable. You can't really do it, I think, with one hand. Yeah, there we go. So, shorter rider. You can move back for a taller rider, which is great. That is a really nice feature. Looking at the instrumentation, you have, there's speedometer, which is in kilometers per hour. That'll have to change if this is going to be sold in the US. But then you have horn, turn signals, hazards, lights, high beam, low beam, pretty much, everything you need, nothing you really don't. Forward, neutral, reverse, and down here, right there's your parking brake. Little separator. You guys had a question about the other machine when we did a video. There was like an opening here. People were concerned about brush and stuff coming through and hurting the, the occupants or the operator. No openings there, and there's a little mat here that you can remove and clean stuff if you need to. All right, coming around to the back, we have another fuel can, just like the Mini 125, and a spare tire. Now, lots of people said they use this fuel can. A lot of people said don't use a fuel can. Personally, I would not use it. I would use a brand new plastic fuel can, non-ethanol fuel, with a little bit of Seafoam in there. Not sponsored by Seafoam, but I've used it for years and I think it works great on carbureted machines. This is fuel injected, but the Mini 125 is carbureted. Another question we had was, is the spare tire usable on the Mini 125? I could never get it to hold air. If I put a tube in it, I could, but never really needed to. I'm not taking it off-road. It's again, essentially a go-kart. But this is a fully usable spare tire, and one thing I saw about all these tires, 6-ply. So they're gonna be very puncture resistant, which is great. 2-inch receiver. Again, we start to look at the beefiness of the frame. It's a really nice frame. This is something that could probably tow a decent sized trailer. Not thousands of pounds, no, but I mean, you get some, get a utility trailer, a landscape trailer or something, you're not gonna tow ATVs around with this thing, but you're probably gonna be able to tow, some logs, some leaves, some debris, some stuff around your farm, firewood, whatever it is. This thing will actually do some work. And then you see down here, real nice looking brakes. Here's your axle. This is 2-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive. I don't probably gonna get that question, but yeah. All the access points to get any kind of service are back here. This is actually where the engine is. It's in this little compartment right there. They send you a little toolkit like a lot of companies do now. And let's look at the engine. It's your fuel tank, fuel injection, you know, coolant overflow, because here's your little radiator. This is a tiny little radiator. I wonder if they'll offer something bigger maybe. Not sure. This is not a final production, I'm sure. You know, there's only a couple of these things. If you guys see things that you'd like differently about this machine, leave them in the comments, because they do listen. If you have suggestions, things you'd like right off the bat, I think a couple hooks right there and there would be good, or one hook here. It looks like they actually have a spot there for it. You know, just a couple small things like that, I think, really start to set it apart. And, you know, you could put some nice little off-road lights there or whatever. But, yeah, fuse box, fuel fill. Again, there's a better look at these adjustable shocks. Shouldn't be difficult to do at all. You have a horn, so nice little machine. So y'all tell me, what do you think? What does it need? What does it not need? And what do you think it should be sold for? That's a good idea. Let's talk about price. What do you think that this thing's gonna be worth? Don't put it in there just yet. Well, you can, and then you can revise it after we ride it. But let's take this thing for a ride. Let's see how she gets up and goes. And yeah, nice little machine. All right, off we go. You know, as you can see, I'm a larger size human being. I'm about 6'4", about 250 pounds, and I could fit this thing perfectly fine. And I promise you, I could fit another one of me right next to me without any issue. Now, as far as comfort goes, I'll adjust the shocks, see how that helps. But it really is a nice little ride. So, I mean, let's go for, you know, let's maybe see if we can hit some bumps here, go for a little bit ride, and then I'll grab the camera and we'll do more of a point of view ride. And then maybe we'll even, you know, throw the eye in the sky and see how it looks in. But so far, super impressed. So it's taking hills with ease. There's a rattle in here, which I got to figure out, probably tighten that up, but it's definitely not as soft on the suspension as a side-by-side would be. But again, this is a lumpy hayfield, so can't really be too picky on that. But man, it's fun to drive, I'll tell you that. The steering is just smooth as butter. Like, I'm just sitting here and it goes all the way around. You can see the wheels are moving perfectly fine. No issue with the steering. It's, you know, it takes a minute to kind of spool up, like most, I guess it's a CVT transmission. They haven't told me. But a lot of times those things will take a little bit of gas and then it'll kind of kick in. This definitely has a little bit of delay. But as far as like power and stuff going up these hills, like I wanted to stop here and show you this hill right here. Like we're gonna be going through that little dip and then up a hill. Now, if we're towing trailers or a bunch of things, like you guys may wanna know, what if I put a deer in the back? What if I had, you know, a bunch of bags of corn or feed or something, or seed, or, you know, I'm towing a small trailer? We're gonna test that in future videos, I promise you. But right now, we just want to see, like, is it fun to ride? Because if it's not fun to ride and doesn't give you enough power to kind of do what you want to do, then what's the point? So far, like I said, I mean, there's very little time on this machine, but compared to the Mini 125, I think that if you're trying to find this kind of look, you know, the JEEP look, in a smaller machine, just to kind of some fun, the Mini 125 is a blast to ride, don't get me wrong, but I could ride this, not all day, but it'd beat the heck out of you. But as far as like, if I had this on a small property, if I had 2-3 acres and I wanted to just get something to kind of help out, 100% I would look at something like this, because it's a lot of fun to drive, and I do think that it has some power and some utility. So let's keep riding around. That hill was nothing. Friends, what do y'all think? I think it's pretty cool. The Mini 125, I'm glad we had a chance to test that one first, because that was actually, it kind of surprised me. Again, I thought it was going to be more like a novelty, like a toy, like, yeah, I'm not even going to be able to fit this thing, but I ended up really having a good time with that thing. We still have it. We ride it all the time. It's fun. It's just a nice little machine. It's a great conversation piece. You're not going to do work with it, right? It's a go-kart, guys. I had so many questions asking me, like, can you tow trailers with it? Can you plow snow with it? I had a lot of people ask if you could plow snow with it. A lot of folks asked if you could put a belly mount mower on it. Y'all, it's just a go-kart. It's just for 100% enjoyment and fun. Those of you that have bought them, let's hear it in the comments. Let's hear, you know, if you guys still enjoy it, if you're still having fun with it. I know ours has been flawless. Yes, there's some things that kind of rally, you have to tighten up, but it's any machine. This is a different animal, though. This is like this is more of in my mind, a very light duty side-by-side. By having the ability to tow into the frame with a 2-inch receiver, and just a beefier body, I think you can actually get some things done with it. Now, you saw riding out here in this field, it is bumpy. Now, I could soften the shocks, haven't done that yet, so in all fairness to the machine, we'll do that in a future video. But I just think it's a very, very fun machine. It's a very neat machine. It's a conversation piece too. But the question is, how much can you pay for a conversation piece that doesn't really get as much utility done? This one will do a lot more than the 125. And the 125 is somewhere between like $2,500 and $3,000. Had a lot of people ask me that question. Why didn't you put the price in the video? Well, our videos get watched everywhere in the world. Like, that's just the reality of YouTube. And I can't say it's one price here because it's completely different someplace else. Simple Google will tell you what these things cost. But that's about $2,500 to $3,000. What do you think this one's worth? What would you guys pay for this thing? And I'm being honest. I want to hear what you guys think. And I think 𝑀'ASLMO wants to hear what you think. And what options does it not have that you all think it should have? I think as it stands, it looks really cool. It's a very comfortable machine. Driving on the gravel driveway and on like paved roads, it is smooth as butter. Like, it's amazing how smooth it is. And it turns really well, which is why I didn't change the suspension. I thought that the tightness is good. If I was going to ride out here in this field, man, we would make that thing marshmallow, because this field is probably the worst field we have actually on the farm. I'm glad we tested it here because it gave it a workout. But at the risk of getting too wordy, I do appreciate you guys watch these videos. Usually we're using tractors, and I have a skid steer and big tractor implements. So if you want to come back and watch some of those videos, we appreciate you doing that. But this is just a treat for us to be able to come out here and test some machines that are actually fun machines. Like, this is not built for utility and work and commercial grade. This is built for having a good time and maybe getting some things done. And I think this actually would probably get a few things done. I do appreciate your time today. I appreciate you watching. And if you enjoyed this video, give us that like. We would appreciate it. And hit the notification bell so when we post new videos, you get notified that we post a new video. So I will catch you on the next one. Thank you for visiting us today. I'm Joe the Farmer. We out.